Yo, what is good with everybody watching? Hello, my name is Willie Hurt and I'm not here by myself, I'm with my boy.
My name is Jason Blanton and welcome to another episode of Brothern Hospitality.
Brothern Hospitality, yes sir. Today we're going to be speaking on humble beginnings, but first, before we start getting into that, let my boy Jason tell y'all what Brothern Hospitality is all about.
Brothern Hospitality is a podcast basically talking about the perils of sports, music, and fashion to identify the progress made in Black culture.
Yeah, we talk about a lot more, talk about things that are upcoming, things that are new, and pretty much things that are relevant at the moment. So, again, to start off with humble beginnings, I'm a first-year broadcast journalism major that is from Chicago, Illinois, and it was a big adjustment to come to, college and be able to have a lot of freedom, not being watched over by my parents, and be able to, live on my own. And I would just say that this has been a great experience, my first year. I've got a lot of stuff, learned a lot of experience, met a lot of people, and man, I can't say too much, man, it's been great.
Willie definitely hit it on the head. Growing up, I was always super independent, super invested into, I was always able to take care of myself. At the age of 3, making peanut butter jelly sandwiches, standing up on the counter by myself and stuff like that. So, but coming to college though was definitely, you think you ready, you think, oh yeah, I'm ready to go to college, I'm ready to have freedom, I'm ready to do this. But once you really get out here in these streets, you know what I'm saying? It gets tough. I'll let Willie elaborate though.
I mean, yeah, again, it's pretty much like what parents say, man. It's like you're not ready for the real world for a little bit. You gotta adjust. And I ain't gonna lie, it was adjustment because if you're really coming to college, personally with me, college work is way easier than high school work. But I think the problem that a lot of people have with college is that there's no one that's gonna push you. No one's gonna tell you to do this. No one's gonna tell you to do that. So it's on you. If you don't do it, you're gonna fail. Your teacher's not gonna be emailing you saying, oh, you're not doing this assignment. They don't care. So pretty much this is all on you, and I really feel like that is the main adjustment that I had to adjust coming from high school to college.
I would definitely agree. There's no, it's really underestimated for all my young first year, upcoming first year freshmen, or just anybody who's in college in general. It's really underestimated. You really don't realize what it's like to not have your parents there or your family there. It's not even about being pushed, right? Because we all got here, we all earned it, right? So it's more so about the fact that we earned it to get here, but even just being in the same house as your parents, going back home to when you go home to go to sleep at night, seeing them there, still probably put a little bit of a drive in you, or still kind of kept you in check a little bit. But once you're out here on your own 100%, and even for some people Willie's from Chicago, that's far,
yeah, 14 hours.
14 hours, I'm only 4 hours away, 4-hour drive. So my parents, if I do need them, I can, they can slide. And Willie's mom is really good at she still be sliding, don't get me wrong. But it's just a different kind of principle, So with that being said, it really can take a toll not having them here, but at the same time though, the room for growth, the room for improvement is like no other.
Yes. So, I gotta ask you a question about your humble beginnings. So if I had one question that I would ask, what do you think changed the most from senior J coming into college to sophomore J, incoming sophomore J?
From senior J to sophomore J. Man, okay, I was just telling somebody about this recently, but basically, I feel as though as a senior at my old school, when I said I had a love for journalism and broadcast journalism, I wasn't taken serious enough. I was in yearbook, and my yearbook class was full of my homies and stuff like that. And some chumps too, don't get me wrong. But it was full of my homies, so my teacher never really took me serious. When it came to getting an interview, when it came to stuff, she really couldn't depend on me. And rightfully so, it's my senior year, she know we on BS, right?
Everybody had that moment saying, yeah, I don't even tell for real, I'm just trying to graduate.
Exactly, we was just trying to kick it. Class full of homies, I'm talking about the whole squad in that junk. But I would say I wasn't taken serious enough when it came to, who wants to get this interview with so-and-so. if my name ever was mentioned, it was like a joke or it was like funny. And it's not even because of a race thing, I would say, because my school is very like diverse, very multicultural. But I'll say at the same time though, sometimes I did feel like, man, like I felt like unappreciated. Coming into my freshman year, now going into sophomore year, me and Will, like, we hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see like what we do, like our craft. It always feels good to me to like, it's a blessing, you know. It feels good for a lot of people to see the interviews, but we do it because genuinely we enjoy it. It's not because we're not doing it to get seen. You know what I'm saying? And that's where like people have a disconnect, right? Because if you love something, it's gonna show. If you have a passion for something, it's gonna show. If you want it bad enough, it's going to show. And I feel like in life, a lot of people have a disconnect because they do something because they feel like they're forced to. I always say do it because you want to, not because you have to. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. So if I were to speak on this question myself, I would have to say that one thing that I believe I changed about most from me being a senior to me being a sophomore is I really feel like I've been able to express myself more. I feel like one thing that I did my senior year is that I had a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to do, and I feel like I just wasn't doing it. I always had a passion for sports. I've been playing sports since I was 4 years old. Sports has been everything. I've loved sports forever, and I feel like it's always been a goal for me to have a sports podcast, be able to talk about games, talk about whatever. And with my show, the 90 Provider Playmakers, tune in if you don't, Saturdays from 12:30 to 2. I feel like I'm able to pretty much be myself, and I really love that for myself. And I really feel like there's still a lot more stuff that I want to do at this school, a lot more stuff that I know I can get into. And I just can't wait to pretty much be able to show people what really is truly inside of me. Because I really feel like one thing that my family say, and a lot of people say about me a lot, is that they don't really get to see a lot about me. You really gotta get to know them for real, you know, like the joke, but it's real life, not a joke. Like, real life, you gotta get to know them for real. So I want people to be able to get a little image of me without having to, you know, be my closest friend or be my dog. Really.
He cool. Hey, he cool as can be. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So with that being said, like I said, Willie is like as cool as can be. If he knows, you know. Talk about a little bit about your experience from orientation. What was your expectation of FAMU, and how does that translate to what you have today?
Good question. Think about that. Coming into FAMU, I was expecting, you know, I really just like being around black people. To be honest, I just like pretty much.
That real though. That real.
Not that petty though. But pretty much what I like about being around black people is I like pretty much being around black people in an educational standpoint. It pretty much means everybody around me is the same as me. So you don't got the excuse, oh, you look this way, he can do what you see, he get it. No, you don't got that. Everybody's black. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody's black, but everybody, you know, is a minority. Everybody has something. So there's not an excuse. So I really feel like one thing that I came into FAMU with was I was really excited to see how other black people would work. Because, you know, one thing that is like a real stereotype about black people is that they're lazy. They pretty much want to, you know, gang bang or sell drugs. You know, it's always something this. So now we're getting to see black people in the light that they don't like to show them in. See them with suits on. I like walking around seeing a fellow black man with suits. It's like it's a good feeling a little bit. So, you know, put on a suit, look professional, you know, not pull off as a gangster or something all the time, you know. So I really feel like when I was able to do that, it's just something that really was powerful and nice. So that's really what I think I got from agency with my first time.
100%. Wanna like something. Before I met Willie, like it's so funny because before I met Willie, like just being in like everyday modern day life, I would never. If I see somebody fit, or like if I see what they're wearing, I would never like give them props. Or like in my head I'll be like, oh, that's tough. But I'll never like say something like out loud, you know? And so like being around Willie, like he said, like being able to see other progressive black men, just other black men flourishing in general. Our goal is to like see our like, you know, I always like to say, see my brothers flourish to their higher purpose. So it's such a blessing and such a blessing and such a great opportunity to see you know, and be able to speak and be vocal about it, bro. Like, I see you doing your thing. It feels good when people see me and Will like on WANM 90.5, you know, getting interviews. One of the craziest things to us personally, our passion like is sports. Don't get me wrong, but having the opportunity to like interview Boston Richie, Wiz having like stuff like that, that's like timeless. Like it wasn't even. That's just us like the genuine craft of journalism. It was with us. It was never about sports for real. It was about this is an opportunity. Let's take it. So
yeah, again, I think that's a great point. I was gonna say it's way bigger than sports. I'm a writer for the FAMU, and then I also open opportunities for me to be a writer for some in Chicago, some person called the News School. But it pretty much gives me a chance to talk about whatever I want to talk about, upcoming news, violence, whatever. And I just really feel like that Florida A&M is something that where you could expand all types of journalism. There's not no one type of journalism. You can really find your passion no matter what it is, no matter if it's politics, no matter if it's sports, no matter what it is. So I really feel like Florida A&M does a great job with allowing people to truly find what they're passionate about and find what they're really going to find and let them be able to work with their niche and find what's going to push them to be the best version of themselves.
Again, Willie did not miss. I would say that if I was to give anybody any advice, if you don't want to go to college, I told my cousin this actually. If you don't want to go to college, if you really think you want to go to junior college route, community college route, kind of to get an AA, or you're not sure what you want to do, this is 100% the school to find out what you want to do. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. I cannot guarantee, that's a guarantee. That is a guarantee, 100%. I've seen people come here who literally just come to college because what they said they was going to do, stay home. And like, that's where you really get into the topic of like, HBCU. That's like, I know a lot of people saying it was either sell drugs, rap, or play basketball.
Literally.
If I stayed home, so I came to school. That inspires me. That inspires everyone that's around us.
That's real. So building off all the good stuff we've been talking about Florida A&M, we're gonna have to get a little bit real. I ain't gonna lie, a little bit personal. So I gotta ask you, Jason, what do you think was the hardest thing that you had to encounter while being at? What was the hardest thing for you to do? It don't matter if it's class, it don't matter. Sorry, man. You gotta air it out, man. You gotta let them know.
Cut.
Real.
I'm gonna lie. That's a loaded question. A very loaded question. We just had to take a little break because I had to cut. But
Be real.
I would say the hardest thing for me at FAMU is maintaining relationships in every aspect of the word, not just friendship, not just intimate relationships, but all in all. In college and being here and just as busy, like, I won't say as I am, but you'll start to notice when you're here, it's really not even so much about, oh, you don't want to like hang out with somebody, or oh, you don't want to talk to them. It's really about convenience. Like, I know I'm cool with a ton of people at this school, but granted, me and Will, we live on the whole other side of campus. Like, compared, like, there's two sides of campus. If you go here, you know. If you know, you know. But like, I got plenty of like connects. When I see you, we got plenty of boys. When we see each other, we dapping up, we laughing, we kiki, we catch each other at the caf, we all sit down together, and it would have been like we known each other, and we've been kicking it since day one. It's not even that. It's really just about the convenience of it. So with that being said, it's like with so many people. Think about it like this: Willie lives in a dorm. There's 456 rooms times 2. You know, it's the math guy, right? 912 people just in his dorm alone. Then there's another dorm across from him that has 912 people. My dorm, which has almost, on average, 5 people in a dorm, and it has, I think, it has 3 floors. So think about that. Think about the amount of people that me and Will, and just in general as a college student, you have to come across on a day-to-day basis. I guarantee you, there's probably somebody you walk past in college that you'll probably never see again. That is a big possibility. That's a big possibility. You'll never see them again. Goodbye, because that was the last time. Like 10,000 students, and that's just here. Imagine being at a bigger school, like a SEC school or an ACC school. Bro, you talking about 35, 40,000 students. It's hard to keep track. It's hard to juggle. It's hard to juggle friendships. It's hard to juggle relationships. Because you know so many people. And people will say, oh, you went ghost, or, what happened? Like, what happened? We seen you. It's not even like that. I just, once that schoolwork hit, I never really I'm a big believer in locking in, in terms of with schoolwork or just what's important to you. But it's been times where people are oh, I disappeared on them, and I didn't even realize it just because we was in the lab. Me and Will, we was doing the playmakers, we was getting interviews. If I'm not there, I'm at home doing homework. If I'm not there, I'm chilling with my immediate friend group. So I didn't even mean to go ghost on you. It's just, it just happened. That's what I can say about that. What you think?
If I were to speak on one thing that I think the hardest thing, I would go on the same path as him. I think it does have to do with relationships, but I feel like one thing that I don't do is I feel like I don't build relationships enough, which is kind of a different, the opposite of him. I feel like if me and Jason walk in a room, it would be, and somebody right there, it would be Jason walk up to him and then they'll be like, oh, that's your homie right there? Then that's how it's gonna go. That's not how I pretty much want to go. I pretty much want to be on, I think my mindset coming in here, which is a bad mindset, and it's something that I'm snapping out of a little bit, but I feel like it's something that's still pretty much been installed in me for so long that it's been stuck, is that if you just automatically come up to somebody and start talking, now you just talk too much, or you just a talkative, or you just want to talk, I see, you're a talkative dude. But no, it's really just, maybe you're trying to network, maybe you're just trying to be friendly with you. You gotta stop, I gotta just stop thinking like that. Pretty much, at the end of the day, me talking to you isn't gonna do worse than me not talking to you. So pretty much, I could open up a whole new door by talking to this person, but instead me being quiet and me trying to be cool, I'm messing up my chances. This is something that I've been talked about with a lot of people. My mom's told me this, a lot of people have told me this. But again, I'm a really consoled person. I'm a real quiet person. I really don't talk out that much unless it's work or something in that scenario. But it's something that I have to snap out of, because personally for me, the best advice that I received, and the one that I've seen the most already, is that networking is key. You have to meet people, you have to know people. If you don't know people, you can be as great as you want to be, but it's going to be way harder for you when you got somebody that can literally lead you to the door instead of working your way up to get to the door. So it's pretty much, I would just say that I just have to be open to relationships, be open to talking to everybody, really. No matter what I think about them, what first impression they give me, that I have to be open to be friendly with everybody, and that there's no such thing as being over talkative or none of that.
Give him a chef's hat, man, because who let him cook? Who let him cook? Yeah, man, really just, I would say me and Will, I didn't expect this episode. Every time we sit on this couch, it's y'all don't understand. This takes so much work, especially when it comes to the visual aspect, the editing, all of this stuff. It's between homework, finals. Every time we come to sit on this couch, we sat on this couch 4 times this week, and this is the first time the episode's actually getting shot.
Yeah.
So, but in them, before, I never expect episodes to be as good as they end up seeming, and it's because it becomes so natural, right? But I'll say when Willie was talking about how when we walk in the room, now I speak first, and then I kind of be oh yeah, that's my homie Will. It's so many different levels to that. But first I'll say is really, it's just a balance. For now, it's such a good balance between me and Will. Because honestly, being around this guy, we could both be in a room and we just looking at each other, not saying nothing, because everybody else is looking kind of just saying whatever, and just saying some BS. So that's like it balanced me out too. So now like honestly, I take it like I'll see how we'll treat certain situations, and I'll be like, maybe I can take a trick out of his book. Sometimes he won't say too much. Me, if I feel a way about something, I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna lie. That's just who I am. That's a good thing. Very emotional. I'll say anything but emotionless, but at the same time though, it's a way to go about it. With that being said though, Will, I gotta ask you the question, and they're like the viewers are probably wondering too. Where do you think that comes from? Like, does that come from your background of just like being from where you're from? Is that like a cultural thing in Chicago? Like what is it?
That's a good question. No, I won't gonna lie, that was real. We had to cover that one too, man. I ain't gonna lie. That was really deep. But if we want to be for real, I would have to say that the reason that I believe that I'm a little consoled is because starting off from an early age, I feel like I was like in an environment where I was laughed at a lot. But I mean, that's like kind of what school is a little bit, because there'll be other people that'll be laughed at a lot. But it would kind of be based off of like a lot of stuff. Like pretty much, I don't think that I was a very good talker. And it would be like a joke that people would make, pretty much saying like, "Oh, really don't want to talk for real," all the other things. Then it's a lot of things that go. Pretty much, one thing that I really got bullied about was my hair and how like my facial stuff looked. And I really just don't like being like ridiculed and talked about. Really, that's really all it is about it. And I feel like being open on a public platform like this is the main place to get talked about. That's what all people gonna be talking about. There's always something to say about somebody. There's always something. I really feel like that early on in my career, it really affected me because I was a real sensitive person. I feel like everything that people said really hit me somewhere. And I really remember a lot of the stuff that a lot of people said to this. It really hits me, like everything. Even if one thing about me is, I know how to take a joke, but at the same time, I'm gonna remember that joke. I'm sorry, but it's always gonna be in my mind. If you say something a little I'm gonna accept, we're gonna move on, but it's always gonna be in the back of my mind. I'm always gonna remember that, because I'm always gonna use it as motivation. I use everything people say about motivation. Like one thing that was talked about, and it's gonna air it out, I ain't gonna lie, they ain't gonna like this one. But we was at a little function, at a little after party or something, and they voted who's the most likely to be homeless? And they said me.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Wait,
look,
when was this?
This was last year. That was like a little senior thing.
Okay.
So everybody, Willie, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. Cool, I ain't finna be that person that's gonna start crying in front of everybody. But doesn't leave. I remember that. I remember exactly who said it and exactly who was laughing. That's all I was gonna say. It was just alright. So pretty much, I really feel like me growing up, I had a fear of being judged by others, but now I feel like I'm breaking out of that a little bit. I feel like I'm finding comfortability in myself, which I'm very proud of, and I really want to keep working to get away from that and not to really do it for me and don't think about what everybody else thinks. At the end of the day, when you're working on something, it should be for you and you only. It shouldn't be to prove no point to nobody. It shouldn't be I'm finna do this to do this for you. No, it should be for you. So that's one of the things that I think I'm starting to acknowledge. And I would say that is probably the reason why I've been so quiet all my life and pretty much been consoled and not really wanting to open up and let people know the real Will.
Well, guys, not gonna lie, I didn't even know that. That's some good stuff.
That was it.
And like, I feel as though again we keep talking about sitting on this couch, like that's why I said, like, if y'all seen it, y'all would have had to been there. But like at orientation, like from the day one, I said something to Willie. He laughed. He said some shit back. I laughed, and I was like, "Where you from, shorty?" But like I was like, "You from Chicago, ain't it?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm from the rack." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." He was like, "How you know?" I was like, "Bro, I just be knowing like." It's like I've known him like for a long time. With that being said though, this couch kind of opens up, makes us have conversations that, we don't really like need to have, I guess. Because like normally we'll just be like kicking it, like laughing, joking about whatever that don't matter for real. But like these are the conversations I feel like we need to have. With that being said though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, college, for me, open up a little bit, but like, really? At first, when Willie was talking about, people like talk about it, like, I'm not gonna lie, please talk about me, please, please, talk about us, please, because wanna know why? At the end of the day, if you saying some hating foolishness in the comment section, you gonna look like a fool. I would say Willie hit it on the head perfectly when it comes to, this couch makes us have conversations that, normally when me and Will just chilling, just vibing, playing the game, whatever it is, listening to music, doing homework, whatever, like, this couch makes us have those kind of conversations because I didn't even know that about him. With that being said though, I'll say that's big what he talked about, because for me, in middle school and in high school, it was kind of like, I grew up in a very multicultural, like my group was very multicultural. And I'm the darkest one, and I know how this goes, unfortunately. As much as I know my group is smarter enough, I know my group is educated, and I know some people out there are educated, but not everybody isn't. So with that being said, I always feel as though I was like, not judged, but like, I knew people were gonna say something anyways, so I didn't really care what they thought, honestly. I knew they were gonna say something about me anyways. I was the darkest one in my group. So I didn't care. I gave none. With that being said though, that kind of also made me who I am in today. Is like, in college, before, like I said, my excuse was, you're gonna say something anyways. You're gonna say something anyways. But now in college, it's like, when I'm around the same people as me, I'm so worried about what people think of me that's not my excuse anymore. I can't say, well, you were gonna say something anyways, because I'm now around people who look just like me. With that being said, I feel as though that's how I ultimately became okay with being, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing like that, but being different. And something I always like to allude to, right, is the legendary Duke Dennis, if you will, the Riz Master, the Riz God. People were always asking him around that time, and he got so sick of it. And he had said it once before, and he wasn't gonna say it again, was be yourself. And I think that it's such people don't understand how many layers that there is to that. And that quote, of course, okay, be yourself, blah, blah, blah. We hear that every day. But I'll put it to you like this. I was born on September 5th, 2003. Willie was born on
July 31st, 2004.
So ever since that day, Will's only known how to be himself. Since September 5th, 2003, I've only known how to be myself. That's all I've practiced. Just like hooping. You shoot enough, it's gonna fall more. Unless you're Russell Westbrook or Ben Simmons. Because Ben Simmons shoots a whole lot, and that man can't shoot a ball in the middle of the ocean if he was on a moat. But I'll say this though, random straight up Ben Simmons though. Hey, shout out Ben Simmons. But I'll say all you know how to be is yourself. So when you start looking at what other people are doing and trying to put that in your game, you can do that in the generality aspect of it. I can look at Will or our homie Ken, which will be on Brothern Hospitality real soon, by the way. Good guy, great guy. But with that being said, all you know is how to be you. So with that being said, it's that's all you practice your whole life. So do that. I could look at in the generality aspect, I could look at how Will or Ken is gonna talk to a female and be like, okay, maybe I can take that trick out of my bag. It's something that's general, it's general though, and it's very general. Oh, a compliment, boom. Yeah, you can write that on your notes. But the way I'm gonna go about it and the way Will is gonna go about it, he's from Chicago, Illinois. Out West 290. I'm from Tampa, Florida. So cross country. So the way we're gonna go about things is gonna be different. What you saying?
What?
What's gonna work for him is not gonna.
Oh yeah, right, for sure. What's gonna work for him is never gonna work for you, bro. You're two completely different people. At the end of the day, one person's dumb, one person's dumb. You can never, like I said, you can never do the same thing as somebody else and they think it's just gonna work for you. Like, that's not how it works. Things are gonna change. People are gonna adapt. So and it goes like off a lot of stuff, like also no trying to like judge people and nothing, but if you try to walk up to them all confident and then it might work because the dude, she might mess with him, but you gang, like, be for real, you're not him. I guess I'm trying to be funny.
You're not him. But no, 100% though. That's what it comes down to, right? Is I remember like there were certain points in college. It was like, man, like who, like sometimes and it's so funny. It's one of my favorite, and I don't know if she's gonna watch this episode, but one of my good friends, if you will, we used to hang out quite a bit, whatever, and one of my good friends, we used to hang out quite a bit, and I had wanted a grill, and I was talking about this grill for the longest. Now, trust me, I always wanted a grill, right? But, we hadn't spoken a little while, like we talked about, things just kind of get in the mix. Once you get in that groove of college, sometimes you things kind of fizzle out just because of convenience. And I remember I was talking to her one time, and I was like, we gotta get back to hanging out, whatever. And my grill fell out. And she was like, you just need to take it out anyway. She was like, oh, grills scare me. Like, that was never you. Like, why do you even have that in? And like, of course, I always wanted it, but that was one of like the pivotal moments when you had to realize, like, come on, bro, like, she's right, as much as I wanted that. And then I ended up losing it. And I feel like that was God's like way of telling me, you don't need that. Like, all you need is your smile for real. Like, as much, I'm from Florida, so of course I want to show the goals. Like, but there's a time and a place for everything, and in that moment, it just wasn't the time. With that being said, though, we talk about being yourself, being this, humble beginnings. With that being said, though, who is Willie Hurt?
Who is Willie Hurt? Well, I would say that there's a lot of aspects to Willie Hurt that is not talked about. Obviously, from the outside, you look like Willie's just a passionate sports dude that just likes to play and likes to talk about sports and pretty much be able to talk about his opinions. But it ranges a lot from that. I listen to a lot of music. I play video games a lot when I'm not doing stuff. I tend to write. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that I like to journal sometimes, like just journal about my thoughts, write about whatever. It's gonna be more about that next semester when I really am open more about letting people see my writing, but I like to write. It's a lot of things that go into Willie Hurt, and I really feel like in defining me, I would have to say that I'm just someone that's gonna go into things fearless and start remembering that at the end of the day, whatever I'm gonna do is gonna be positive. That's really just what my mindset has turned to, and how even if you lose some money or something, my mindset now is starting to be, oh, I lost that money, but now I know next time not what to do so I don't lose that money. Pretty much make something positive out of whatever situation you're in. If something negative happens, always something positive that you're getting from it no matter what. That's what I really think that I have to start getting into, and I really believe that's what's gonna make me truly myself.
That's 100%, like we'll talk about, it's like really true, like I don't want to get like too deep, and we're gonna talk a little bit like spiritual, but like at the end of the day, no matter what, like Will said, everything around you is positive. It's your choice on how to look at it, and you have to have enough resilience, you have to have enough dedication, but at the same time grit in order to, no matter what, even if your mind does start to wander off, to get back right. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I could look at it like this. 4 times this week we sat on this couch. This is the first episode we shot, right? I could look at it, man, this couch, man, bro, it might not work, blah, blah, blah. But I could also look at it like, at least this couch is holding me up. It's giving us support. The couch is giving us support. Like, it's from within. You have to really find that. And like, I know Will wanted to talk about, you got the tag, bro. You gotta let him know about the tag.
Oh yeah, for sure. One thing, this is an auto part about myself. This is a tat I got this summer. And it says Isaiah 41:10, if you can see it on the cross. And it pretty much, the saying means that fear no man as long as I am with you, which is God. And do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Which means that when you go into something, there will never be a fear of what's going to happen, because you know God's going to be behind you no matter what. No matter what happens, you're going to bounce back, no matter how bad it is. And then another thing is, do not be dismayed, which means don't be anxious. Don't go into things thinking, oh, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. Instead, think about what happened if this happened, what happened if this. Start thinking positive. Don't always be anxious and having such a bad negative mindset all the time, because it's going to hold you back and it's going to stop you from attacking opportunities where you have them.
That's like so big, and I'll say that is because one of the funniest things, like I said, me and Will sitting down on this couch, we say it all the time, we say it again. Me and Will, we both knew like going into winter break we wanted a tattoo, but we both didn't we didn't really like talk about like what it was gonna be or like, you know, whatever. And it's so crazy he does that, because while we talking about the concept of tattoos, I got this tattoo right here, and it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, do not rely on your own understanding. The reason why that speaks so much to me is because it's real similar to Will's if you think about it, but when I wake up in the morning and I first look in that mirror, it's over my heart, which means it's like my love, like my morals is like based around God. So no matter what, I trust in Him. No matter what I see, that understanding part is the key part though. No matter what I see, no matter what I think I know, no matter how I think I figured out life, He's still the one who has favor over me. He's still the one that even if it may look like right now, Jay, things ain't looking too good for you, I still have to trust in the plan He has for me. And that's ultimately what makes it positive. You could look at like, it's so much deeper than that. But to answer the same question of like, who am I? Well, Wilson, I'm a first-year broadcast journalism major from Tampa, Florida. Y'all, we live until, I'm Jamaican, but things I like to do, like who am I, what I like, bro, I just love to kick it, honestly. I love to listen to music. Drake, my favorite rapper, listen to a whole lot of Drake. I feel like, he's just like one of the best poets. I love to play basketball still. I lift a lot, I go to the gym. I love to be myself. That's so big, right? When you can be able to like get to the point where you can love to be who you are and like self-actualize, that's truly when like you're finding like who you are within. I'll say it, bro, like and like we talked about, the best thing you know how to be is yourself. So when it comes to who are we, it's like I be doing like some pretty weird stuff sometimes. Like not a real crazy stuff, but like sometimes like all of us would just be hanging out and like out of nowhere I'll just say like just like the most wildest thing you could think of, like from whatever, or whatever song lyrics that's in my head, I'm gonna make sure you know that that's in my head. But that's just who I am though, like that's how it was growing up for me. I was the only child on my mom's side, so like when it was just me and my mom in the house, or when like this is crazy, I never looked at it like this. When my mom was at work and it was just me, I had to entertain myself somehow, like as much YouTube or whatever, like playing the game, whatever, but like I had to entertain myself somehow. So I think that's where it comes from, and that's why I'm so, in touch with my emotions, and I'm not afraid to show my true emotions, because it's like, at the end of the day, I know I'm gonna be straight, like I can kick it dolo, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's really who I am. I love to make people laugh. That's one of my favorite things to do, bro. Like no matter the way me and Will met, we was at orientation. Like I said, joking. Like I said something. He laughed. He said something. I laughed. I heard his accent. I was like, "Where you from?" He was like, "Well, I'm from Chicago." I was like, "Yeah, I know." He was like, "How you know?" Cause and that's like how our bond like became so like this like my guy for real. Like this bro for real. Like it's because I was so educated on like what goes on in Chicago, just in terms of the music, everything, like anything we'll talk about, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. It was like he was like, bro, you never been there, so that's really just how we became so close and like how we understand each other. Yeah, that's who I am.
That's real. Alright, this is the conclusion of our second episode of Brothern Hospitality, talking about humble beginnings. But don't forget to follow the socials at Brothern Hospitality on Instagram. I repeat, BROTHERN Hospitality. Now you have no excuse at all to not follow. But don't be afraid to kick it with the brothers on the couch.
Y'all come stay at the crib. We're not kicking y'all out. And this has been another episode of Brothern Hospitality.
Yeah.